Hello, here's Uncle Ray Dean talking about subjects around the world and from the Republic of Texas. Part 2, the Black Codes. In some states, African Americans couldn't even rent property outside of town. Blacks would be beholden to these laws, which would turn to them an institution that may cause worse than slavery. Vagrancy laws were the heart of this system. If a black man was unemployed, homeless, or simply loitering, they could arrest him and fine. But since every newly freed people had little or no money, they couldn't pay the fines. If freemen couldn't pay the fines, they would be sentenced to jail time in a state penitentiary for a determined period of time. States would lease out prisoners, mostly black, to private companies or plantation owners who would pay the state for their labor. It was a money-making scheme that functioned like slavery, just with a paper trail. The work was brutal. The treatment was inhumane. The post-emancipation treatment of free men as laborers were far more brutal. The state made money. White landowners got cheap labor. Black codes didn't just police labor. They controlled where black people could live, where they could travel, what jobs they could take. Some codes require freemen to have written permission to be in a town after dark. Others mandate freemen to have written permission to take jobs as field hands, domestic servants, or manual labor. At the heart of the Black Codes was a clear objective: rebuild the Southern economy to its former glory by exploiting black labor. Annual labor contracts could be arrested and forced to return. Wages was low, conditions was harsh, workers were about no legal protection, the employer held all the power, some laws were prohibited black people from quitting without permission. Landowners offered supplied workers with necessary required the fees associated with the goods being repaid with interest come harvest season. Offered freemen did not earn enough to pay their debt, creating a higher rate of following year. This wasn't a return to slavery, it was a slavery evolution. The name had changed, the system hadn't. The Black Code did not go unnoticed as word of this enforcement spread. Northern politicians made their feelings known. Many in the North had believed that the war end and the passage of the 13th Amendment would lead to real freedom, but the South's swift creation of new restrictions proved the fight for freedom wasn't over for a brief moment. It seemed like the tides had turned. African Americans began voting, holding office, opening freemen's schools, but the moment was short-lived. White Southerners resisted these changes. Once again, federal troops were withdrawn in 1877 following the election of Rutherford B. Hayes in a controversial election. The Black Codes revealed that harsh treatment that freemen once granted still had to defend it. The end of slavery didn't end racism. It didn't create equality. Instead, sparked a backlash that used legal tools to recreate the social celebration. There contained a continuing struggle. The black laws may have been designed to crush the spirit, but they were inspired generation of resistance. From the reconstruction of the civil rights movement, the fight continues. The Black Code reminds us that slavery didn't end with the passage of the 13th Amendment.